I'm Jay Taylor. I'm the editor of Jay Taylor's Gold, Energy, and Tech Stocks, and I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum in downtown Vancouver on May 25th, 2018. And I'm here with Peter Tallman. He's the president and CEO of Klondike Gold Corp, which is one of my top picks. Actually, it's one of my top holdings. And the reason I like it is because it's targeting the mother lode, the source of some 20 million ounces of placer gold that's been mined since the late 1800s. Never until now has any systematic exploration program been undertaken to determine where that gold came from. And Klondike Gold is doing that with the experienced geological capabilities of Peter. So thanks for joining me today, Peter.
Thank you.
You know, it is really quite a story. And you've remarked you think it's really interesting, it's amazing really, that nobody has really mapped that Klondike area, the higher altitude, the higher levels from which the gold washed down into the streams. Nobody's bothered to ask where it's coming from, or at least search for it in a systematic way. You have. Now you've discovered, I think it's a 55-kilometer long major structure, right? And from that, other smaller structures that are hosting gold, and but you have such a major target to shoot at. So one of my questions for you, Peter, is how do you plan to do that efficiently? You know, you have limited resources as a junior mining company. You've got such a big target. So how do you hone in on your drill targets and determine how to efficiently spend your capital in exploration?
Well, we've done that really from the outset. So this is now our fourth year of exploration. And in the first year, which was 2015, under my management anyway, the question really was, is there gold in bedrock? Mm-hmm. Because there's 20 million ounces of gold in gravel, right, and no one had really located any zones. So we did that, and we found two showings that had really good gold, 3 ounces over 3 meters, and 7 over 5, I think, was in the first year. And then we committed, okay, that's a good result, let's spend a bit more. So in the second year we spent $1.5 million and ended up at the very end of 2016 discovering that the gold wasn't always in the quartz veins, but it was also disseminated in the original rock type. And that was new, yeah, and a revelation at the time. And last year, because of those results, we spent $2 million. And we spent most of our time drilling for disseminated gold mineralization. And last year, we got to the point where we could prove that the Bonanza Creek, so that was the discovery of the 1896 Klondike Gold Rush. The Bonanza Creek alluvial gold came from the Lone Star zone that we were drilling. And so Bonanza on that segment of creek had 3 million ounces of gold produced, and 1 million came out of Victoria Gulch, and our zone cuts across that obliquely. It's in the hill directly above. And so now you say, okay, well, where do we go? We own the entire district. So that 55, 60 kilometer length is the entire district. And we know that there are faults cutting the entire district, and we know there's gold, they are gold mineralized. And so to focus in on, one of the shocking things is that it has never been mapped in detail. So it's always been called the undifferentiated Klondike schist. Nobody bothered to worry about individual rock types. The individual rock types, one of them has all the disseminated gold in it. So you need to know that. And especially where there's a fault cutting that's where we should look. That's where it is, yeah. And so now, for the first time, we've mapped it. We know where the structures are. And this summer, I think, is going to be really exciting because we're going to go drill some of these targets that we can predictably say, yeah, that's a good place. That's where it should be. Yeah.
And I would imagine you weren't surprised to find gold in the bedrock. I mean, you probably believed it would be there to start with. Where else would the gold come from? The 20 million ounces.
The point was that we had to show,
it.
The world. You know, you investors, like, yes, it's here, and do it systematically too.
So it's a very large target. What are you planning to do this summer? How much are you spending? And one of the things also that I wonder about, a lot of the gold the high-grade gold is contained in very narrow veins, I believe, right? And
Yep.
but you have found, at least at one location on this massive property, some dissemination between the veins, which could really be helpful. Would you talk about that a little bit? And
and so that again has been for 120 years. The exploration target is actually, I have some in my pocket. You know, there's quartz veins with gold on it. They're white, they're obvious. So when you go and prospect for them, you can see it. The disseminated gold doesn't look like anything special. So we're targeting zones that have both disseminated zones between the veins. And so 2 grams over 40 meters in width at surface is a great result with lots of gold.
Sure.
And actually now we can show that we have 2 zones. So the Lone Star zone is one, but we also recently identified disseminated gold in the Nugget zone, and that's going to be another focus of
this summer.
Of exploration this year, yeah.
Yeah. And how much will you be spending, and are you funded to go through the year?
We're going to spend $2.5 million this year, so again, it's an increase from last year. We have $6.5 million in the treasury, so we're planning on $2.5 million minimum this year, $2.5 million minimum next year. We're fully funded through into 2020.
So you're an exploration play, you're really an exploration company, that's your expertise. You're not a producer. What's your goal in terms of, you need to find 1 million, 2 million, 5 million ounces? What do you need to find, do you think, to get people interested in your story? Big guys.
The majors. So all the majors, all of them are working around us in the Yukon, and they've flocked there. It's a good jurisdiction. There's lots of big bulk tonnage deposits. Their threshold minimum would be 1 million ounces.
Yeah.
And that was really engaging for me, is that I could see multiple millions of ounces in the Klondike. There's 20 million ounces in the gravel. There's got to be more than 1 million ounces there. So that's what we're doing.
And you mentioned to me at the conference here that the Kamenik model seems to be geologically very similar. And that may be helpful to you also in directing your exploration efforts, I suppose.
It's the exact same rocks with a similar structural pattern. And so what we've really done, more or less originally by coincidence, but we're just adopting their exploration methods. And it's a cookie cutter way to get from discovery to buyout.
Yeah. So what really attracts me to this industry are companies like yours, of the $22 million market cap. Nobody cares right now.
That's right.
And yet guys like you are doing the hard work, the science, the good hard science, working at this day in, day out. And this is why, though, it can be so rewarding when the markets turn and when you find something. So $22 million market cap is nothing. Your neighbor there, Kamenik, is, I don't know, it was sold off to Gold Corp for what,
$520 million.
$500 million.
And they started where we were at about 20 million.
So nobody knows what's going to happen for sure, but systematically you're exploring it, developing it. It's an exciting program. Anything else you'd like to say before we conclude our discussion?
I think with the new knowledge that we've gained over the last couple of years, this will be one of the most exciting year yet, because I think we can start to say we have multiple sources and we can identify them for all of the sources of the Klondike gold. Excellent. Well, I really look forward to watching the press releases coming out, and how soon might we see some results? You just started drilling now, a month and a half from now, so in the middle of the summer we can start seeing some things. Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much, Peter. It's really great. Thank you very much. All the best. Best wishes. Thank you.